The heading is the MPP, the EC, and the business of rigging the December 2020 elections. And I've heard some people suggest that Jim Mensah is the minister for the re-election of Nana Addo. I think they have a point. But back to the history. Since 1951, when the forebears of the MPP lost to the CPP, they lost in 1954. In fact, in 1951, they accused the British of rigging in favor of Nkrumah when the clear preference of the British was for Dankwa and Co. But never mind. They lost in 1954. They raised fresh issues. They lost again in 56. No further obstacles could be put in the way of our independence. Otherwise, we could have become independent as early as 1952. They lost again in 1960. The strategy that the UUCC, the NLM, the UP, these are ancestors of today's MPP, developed then was the business of multiple registration. Became central to the electoral strategy. So people register here and you go wherever they call home to go and register. You register in La, you register in Osu. That became a central part of the electoral strategy. Then, sometime in the 80s, somebody who could claim that he was, he belonged to that family, but had not been active in their politics, and certainly was not living in this country, came from, as we call it, a brochure, and cotton onto this idea that we needed a biometric register. So we championed it through the Dankwa Institute. At that time, none of the elders of the party told him that, hey, don't go where you're going. Initially, the NEC that was in government, as a party, as government, was opposed to this idea. Then someone suggested to them that, you know what, actually you might be the biggest beneficiaries of a biometric register. And we're all witnesses to this. Come prior to 2012, prior to registrations, who register here and they'll be bussed to their home regions to go and register as well. It was organized, coordinated by the party and by its lords. So this campaigning went on, and the NDC having become convinced that actually we might be the biggest beneficiaries of this, because no longer will we have a situation of duplicate registrations. Of course, it doesn't deal with the issue of the registration of minors or foreigners, but it's with the business of duplication and double or multiple voting that could be addressed. And that's what it actually turned out to be. That if you look at the 2012 register in relation to previous registers, you recognize that there were a decline in numbers in some regions, strongholds of the MPP. And I believe that this new attempt to compile a new register, it flies in the face of the reasons for the biometric register. Because with a biometric register, you can maintain a continuous business of registration. Your biometrics don't change. Dead people can't vote with their thumbs. They can't. If you die, you go with your thumbprint. Not so. So you can't vote. You may have numbers on the rolls which are nominally there, but they can't vote. And periodically you may have the opportunity of taking out names. I can very well say that, for instance, if we were to go into the rolls today, you find my mother's name, although she's been there for at least a year. You may well find my sister's name, although she's been dead for at least 2 years. Because the process of taking her name out is laborious and cumbersome. But that's the truth. Now, if you listen to all the arguments, first of all, a case has to be made for why we need a new register. And that case can only be that we have a new set of citizens. If we do not, there's absolutely no basis. But the NPP and the EC have decided that they need a new register, so that on this occasion they'll push in minors. They also suppress registration in places that they know are not favorable. That's what this whole thing is about. In the process, they've set aside what we have developed as convention. That is a stranger to our constitution. But that has become central to building an electoral system that is robust, that is capable of dealing with any problems, real or imaginary, through IPAC, through a process of open, participatory, consultative, consensual decision making, which decisions then become the basis for subsidiary law, finds its way into the regulations that the EC will send to Parliament that will guide the conduct of whatever relevant election we're talking about. So what Jimensa and the new EC that have been tagged with MPP activists did was first of all to jettison IPAC. How did they do it? By the end of Afarajan's tenure, the convention was that minutes will be taken at IPAC. Prior to that, minutes were not taken. And that decisions taken will become the basis for law, for the regulations. How does Jimensa and the new EC get out of this? They start with the business of emergency meetings. You know that by convention, there are no minutes. Then they ambush the parties with decisions that they have already made. Like mentioning in passing the business of making a new register. How can you, this major business, how can it come up in the course of any other matters and be a matter that is mentioned in passing? Then they complete it with the composition of an advisory committee of eminent persons made up of a motley of MPP front persons, sympathizers, loyalists. What's their job? To be a bridge between the EC and Ghanaian society. You really wonder, how can such nonsense go on? And a key element in this so-called advisory committee are the champions of the peace industry. Persons who since 1992, whenever the MPP has been in opposition or lost power, have sought to create an architecture for power sharing. They tried it in 2008. They tried it in 1992 when they boycotted elections. They raised the issue of, what was the phrase they used?
Winner takes all.
What was that?
Winner takes all.
Yes. That's their slogan, their battle cry. And this is the point I want to make to my friend Mutala and my other friends in the NDC. There are no neutrals in this business. You cannot expect NPP loyalists to speak against their government. When you were in power, when they were speaking to get you out of power so their party can take power. How can you expect them to speak against their party now? In any case, assume that they are busy eating. We know that it's bad manners to speak when you are eating. So the Reverend Martys and the others, they have found their way into this so-called committee of advisory persons, or whatever you call it. Okay? But that has served as a smoke screen to set aside IPAC. And the convention that decisions about our electoral system must be made by consensus. And the history is clear. From 1992, when they were in opposition, the MPP held everyone hostage until their issues became the consensus position. Through that, we moved from thumb-printed, what do you call it, voter cards to one that had pictures, black and white, right? Then we moved to color. Incidentally, when they came in 2000, they sent us back to black and white, but that's a small point. But we moved progressively to deal with all the issues that they had, real or imagined, on the basis of the issues that they raised. For instance, we started doing the counting and the declaration of results at polling stations instead of doing them at a collation center. We moved from opaque boxes to transparent boxes. They rejected raw power when the NDC brought it up when they were in government. Except that when they gained power, they enacted raw power and beat the hell out of protesters, including my good self. Okay? So basically, you throw this process out of the window. Now, these so-called committee of eminent persons are saying that what? The issue should go back to IPAC. Even the NPP say that, they remind us that IPAC has no locus in the law. What about this committee of eminent persons? What locus do they have? But you know, saying sorry, admitting wrong, is alien to the NPP. It is alien to the NPP. So having been caught out, they're trying to find a way back. They still want to implement this agenda. We cannot fly. If the EC goes ahead and compiles a new register without a consensus, it will amount to an open declaration of war. That's what they'll be doing. You know that matters of war are not settled in court. We know that. But that's where they are taking us.
Unfortunately, we don't have enough streets to...
Come again?
We don't have enough rules in this country to engage
In war.
So
In war?
Units.
But no, this is no joking matter. It is no laughing matter. I mean, this reckless, irresponsible path is what will take us there. Which is why it must be resisted with every means. It is not the place of the NPP to suggest that those who are opposed to this thing should go to court. In any case, the court is packed with NPP activists. It's an open secret. So why would it suggest to people that they should go to court? Because you know you have a clear majority there. But back to this business. It is a dead serious matter. We must not joke with. Of course, the committee of eminent persons have put out their call. I'd like to see how these matters unfold. But what they're basically telling the ACs is that they should go back to the beginning and start the business of open, transparent consultation. Let all the experts, all the consultants who are supposed to have made an examination of the system and put together reports, bring those reports out. This is not someone's private property. These are public documents, if they in fact exist. If these so-called consultants and experts reports exist, they belong to the people of Ghana. It's our business to know what's in them. But I would suggest that for many of these things that are being referred to only exist in some people's imagination. It was part of this grand agenda to whom could we ask and to get to a point, like someone said, they have an answer. And it's not only in electoral matters. They start with the answer and they start looking for questions to fit the answer. But in this matter, the Ghanaian people will not be fooled. I will wait for that.